Take your seats, you're a little bitch.
So kiss me. And let us both be damned.
There's something special about movies that are announced early. Not the kind that show trailers everywhere. Not the kind that scream for attention, but the ones people quietly talk about. The ones you save in your head and think, yeah, I'll be there opening week. And what makes early 2026 interesting is this. January and February used to be empty months for movies. That's not true anymore. Studios are now dropping serious, high-quality films at the start of the year. And some of the most interesting projects of 2026 are coming before spring even begins. These are not guaranteed hits. Some might surprise us. Some might divide audiences. But all of them are highly anticipated for a reason. Let's start from number 10. Number 10, People We Meet on Vacation. This movie is anticipated for one simple reason. People already feel connected to it. Based on a popular novel, People We Meet on Vacation isn't trying to be loud or flashy. It's built on conversations, timing, and emotional distance. The kind of story where nothing explodes, but everything feels heavy anyway. What makes this film highly anticipated is the expectation of intimacy. Viewers are hoping for something quiet, honest, and emotionally grounded. And since it's expected to release early in 2026, around January, it fits perfectly with that winter mood. Slower days, reflective nights. This isn't a movie people rush into for spectacle. It's one they go into hoping to feel something familiar. That's why it's on the list.
How about every summer, wherever we are, we meet somewhere in the world for a trip? Deal.
Number 9, The Rip. The Rip feels like one of those movies that doesn't explain itself too much beforehand, and that's intentional. From what we know so far, it leans toward tension, atmosphere, and psychological pressure. The kind of film that builds slowly instead of racing forward. That alone makes it anticipated. Audiences are tired of being told everything before release. They want mystery again. They want to walk into a theater not knowing exactly how things will end. With a February 2026 release window, The Rip is expected to be one of those films that people discover rather than get sold. And those are often the ones that last longer in conversations.
Knock, knock, Miami PD.
How you doing this evening?
5 cops just magically appeared on my doorstep. I've been better.
Number 8, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. This one carries weight, not just because of the title, but because it continues a legacy people still respect. The 28 franchise has always been about more than infection or horror. It's about collapse, isolation, and what people become when systems fail. The Bone Temple is anticipated because fans want to know, how does this world look decades later? What survived? What didn't? Releasing in early 2026, most likely February, this film is expected to bring a colder, more reflective tone. Less chaos, more consequence. People aren't just waiting for scares, they're waiting for meaning, and that's why this one matters.
This is a memorial to the dead.
Number 7, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. This title alone makes people stop for a second. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die doesn't sound like a typical movie. It sounds like something someone says before chaos begins. And that's exactly why people are curious. This film is highly anticipated because it mixes genres in a way that feels risky. There's tension, dark humor, and the sense that things can go wrong at any moment. What makes it even more interesting is the timing. Releasing in January 2026, this movie arrives when audiences are usually more patient, more open to slower builds, more willing to sit with discomfort. People expect this to be the kind of film that doesn't explain itself clearly. You're supposed to feel lost at first, then slowly realize what kind of story you're in. That uncertainty is what makes it exciting.
Hey! This isn't a robbery! I am from the future!
Number 6, Send Help. Send Help sounds simple, almost casual, but simple titles often hide heavy stories. This movie is anticipated because it taps into a very human fear. Being stuck, isolated, and slowly realizing no one is coming. From early buzz, this film leans towards psychological tension rather than action. Small spaces, limited characters, a focus on mental pressure. With a February 2026 release, it fits perfectly into that quiet, winter atmosphere where slow-burn thrillers tend to work best. People aren't expecting jump scares. They're expecting unease, and sometimes that's far more effective.
I don't think we should ever leave.
Number 5, The Moment. This is one of the most interesting titles on your list. The Moment suggests something brief, something that changes everything. That's why it's anticipated. Audiences are drawn to stories about turning points. The one decision, the 1 second that changes a life. This film is expected to take a reflective approach, focusing more on emotional consequences than fast-moving plot. Releasing in early 2026, most likely January, it feels designed for viewers who want something thoughtful rather than overwhelming. This isn't a movie people rush to discuss online immediately. It's one they think about first. And that kind of anticipation is quiet, but strong.
Hi, it's Charlie XCX. Are you having a brat summer? I'm sorry, what is it again? Is it?
We agreed to Brat Summer Forever.
Number 4, Pillion. Pillion is one of those titles that doesn't explain itself. And that's exactly why people are paying attention. There's very little loud marketing around this film, but the anticipation comes from a different place, from the people involved, the tone hinted at, and the feeling that this won't be a safe movie. Pillion is expected to explore power, vulnerability, and control in a very intimate way. Not through big scenes, but through moments that feel uncomfortable and personal. This is the kind of film that people don't casually recommend. They say things like, "It's not for everyone, but it stayed with me." With a February 2026 release, it fits that early year space where studios are more willing to take risks. Audiences in winter are more patient, more open to slower, challenging storytelling. That's why Pillion is highly anticipated, not because it promises entertainment, but because it promises impact.
What am I gonna do with you?
Number 3, Wuthering Heights. Anytime a classic story gets adapted again, expectations become complicated. On one hand, people are protective. On the other, they're curious. Wuthering Heights is anticipated because it's a story that refuses to die. Generations keep returning to it, not for comfort, but for intensity. This isn't a gentle romance. It's obsession, jealousy, emotional destruction, and that's why modern audiences are interested again. A January 2026 release suggests confidence. Studios don't place heavy emotional films there unless they believe in the material. People aren't expecting something light or romantic. They're expecting something raw, moody, and emotionally heavy. If done right, this version of Wuthering Heights could introduce the story to a whole new audience and remind older viewers why it was so unsettling in the first place. That's why it sits so high on this list.
Suppose I do what all rich men do.
Number 2, How to Make a Killing. This is one of those titles that immediately makes you curious. How to Make a Killing doesn't sound like a traditional crime movie. It sounds ironic, almost casual, and that tone is exactly why people are watching this one closely. This film is highly anticipated because it promises something layered. Not just crime, but commentary. Not just violence, but consequences. From early information, the story leans into dark humor and moral ambiguity. The kind of movie where characters don't fit neatly into good or bad. And releasing in early 2026, likely January, gives it space to breathe. January audiences are different. They're not looking for noise. They're looking for something sharp. People expect this to be a film that makes you uncomfortable in small ways. Not through shock, but through recognition. That's why it's sitting at number 2. It feels like the kind of movie that people won't stop arguing about after they've seen it.
Okay, gun to your head. What would you even do with $1 billion?
Number 1, Scream 7. This one doesn't need an introduction, but it does need an explanation. Scream 7 is highly anticipated, not because it's new, but because of what's at stake. The Scream franchise has always been self-aware. It knows the rules. It knows the audience. And that makes every new installment risky. People are watching Scream 7 closely because they want to know one thing: can it still surprise us? With a February 2026 release, this movie lands right when audiences are ready for something familiar, but only if it evolves. Fans aren't just expecting another killer and another mask. They're expecting commentary on where horror is now, where franchises are now, and whether Scream still understands its own identity. That pressure is exactly what makes this film the most anticipated on the list. Because if it works, it proves the franchise still has something to say. And if it doesn't, people will feel it immediately. Either way, everyone will be watching.
Oh, that's so cool. It's a motion detector.
So yeah, early 2026 isn't about loud blockbusters every weekend. It's about interesting choices. Movies that arrive in January and February, quietly, confidently, and trust the audience to show up. Some of these films will surprise us. Some might disappoint, but all of them are anticipated for a reason. And honestly, that makes waiting part of the experience. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next one.